I'm Sue Bergamo. Welcome to Short Takes. I'm hosting Shai Gabay, the CEO of Trustmi today. We're going to talk about his innovative platform and how he's solving an industry problem. Shai, welcome to the program. How are you today?
I'm good. And thank you for having me here, Sue. Really
You're
appreciate it.
welcome. You're welcome. You're doing something that is very interesting to me and something that a lot of CISOs don't pay attention to, which is fraud. I happen to love fraud because I can actually help to solve for it. And when I first met you, I was so interested to hear that your company is trying to solve the issue with fraud, fraudulent payments, and just overall fraudulent people lurking on the internet. But before we start there, would you like to tell me a little bit about a hobby or a fun fact that you have for us?
Sure, I think that personally, my biggest fun is building things. So of course, right now I'm building a company, but in my spare time, I'm building everything that I can. Wood, concrete, whatever I have time to do, that's what I'll do. The recent project, we just built together, me and my kids, a house for the dog. So that's the latest.
I love it. I love it. So you're handy with your
Oh
hands
yeah.
as well as your brain. That's perfect. All right, let's dive in. So tell me a little bit about yourself outside the fact that you like to build things and what led you to becoming a CEO of a cybersecurity company?
So again, I always like to build things. So I thought that building a company would be an interesting challenge. But I started my career very early. When I was young, I really liked to play and disassemble computers, electronics, stuff like that. On age of 13, started to do hacking. So play a long time in the offensive security role. But then I decided there was much bigger challenge. I always like to say that when you're on the attacker side, you need to find one vulnerability and exploit it. When you're on the defense side, you need to know everything, control everything, much bigger challenge. And that's why I went to Israel Discount Bank. It's the third financial institute in Israel. I spent there 8 years, did a lot of different things, did a lot of innovation, worked with a lot of early stage companies. And in one point in time, I realized that that's my passion, solving business problem using technology. So I was on my role there and basically crossed the line to the dark side, to the vendor side. I've been with three cybersecurity startups and basically learned how to build my own company. So that's my journey. And 2.5 years ago, we started Trust.
I like the path that you've taken. I like the fact that you are solving business issues, which, I just had this conversation with someone that's near and dear to both of us about an hour ago that CISOs need to really solve business issues that just happen to have a security bend to them. So, why do you think fraud is so hard for companies to pay attention to and to solve?
So that's going back to the point. When I worked at the bank, I saw a lot of different problems, and most of the cybersecurity agenda were coming from different aspects, and not always from the right aspect. And especially in the CISO world, it's always buzzword. So when I was in the bank, one of the buzzword was crown jewels. I asked myself, what was the crown jewel of the organization? And for me, it was the organization funds. And that's how I started to be familiar with those processes, how it's really working, how complex the B2B payment is really is, and try to compare it for a second to what we know in the personal life, right? How you do in your own personal payment, it's disrupted and becomes so fast, so easy, and so secure. But now go back with that knowledge and with that experience and see what's going on the corporate business. Nothing changed. It's still a very legacy, a lot of complexity, and in fact, it become the most vulnerable attack surface exists today.
It really is, and I feel sorry for every accounts payable clerk out there, or financial analyst that's paying bills. They are the most sought after target, and with some of the Gen AI deep fakes that are out there, life has become even harder for these individuals. So it's not just about education and identification of threats. And that's sort of a leading statement, but can you take it to the next level?
Yeah, sure. So to your point, generative AI, ChatGPT, that changed a lot. So business to business payments, most of those existing controls or defense today are based on education and process and controls, and most of them are manual. But now, when you try to educate your team, try to look for typos of urgent in emails and stuff like that, that's not working anymore. When the other side, the attackers start to use generative AI and ChatGPT and deepfake, they have all the context. They can craft very tailored emails that look very amazing. Like if I will read them, I will be sure that that's it. So you're still relying on those manual controls and same logic, but the other side have much more. So I think that we got to a point in time that the match is unbalanced, but dramatically.
Yeah, I agree with that. And your platform is really a differentiator in the industry because it's not just focused on the controls or the tech. Do you want to tell the audience a little bit about what your platform is doing? Because I was just really amazed with it. So that's why you're here.
Thank you. So basically, we wanted to build a trust network. Think about Waze navigation for payments, meaning if we'll use crowdsourcing and AI to make sure each payment go to the right place in the right time with the right amount, we will be able to solve all those different problems. But then it's like chicken and egg. How can you solve the problem if you don't have all this data? And no one is going to share all this data with you. The banks are not sharing this information. The people that don't share it. So it's like chicken and egg. So we thought, let's take back and look about the process. And we saw that, again, manual process, a lot of complexity, and a lot of siloed system. So we ask ourselves what we know very well from cybersecurity and how we can use that to our advantage to basically address those type of use cases. So we basically developed the first end-to-end B2B payment security solution. It's a SaaS solution that connects to the entire B2B payment flows, the email, procurement, ERP, all those siloed systems, and leverage the historical data to collect a lot of features and basically assemble from that baseline for what's legit and what's not. So in parallel to that, we are building the trust network. We are already being able to detect and prevent payment fraud or payment mistakes before they go out from the organization.
That's interesting. And can you give us a little bit more of a nugget on how you're actually doing that, or should we save it for demos for customers?
I would say save it for demo. We'd love to show it how it works. But one nugget, the one thing that we really wanted to make sure, we want to be no one going to do anything if you change the way that you're doing business, even for security. So we believe your process your way and will protect that. And that's our mission is securing payment seamlessly.
That's interesting. That's interesting. And do customers have to opt into this network of, secure and protections that you have, or is it something that you're just doing in the background? How does that work?
So think about virus total in that aspect. We build this solution to be totally anonymized and tokenized. So basically, we're not keeping any sensitive information, any PII or anything like that. But on the other side, we keep unique values that we can always compare and have the fingerprint to our advantage.
Okay. Okay. And I know I have so many questions for you, but and I know we're almost out of time. So is there an identity piece of this as well?
Yes, but we are not only speaking about the identity of the person.
Hmm.
Like a lot of the times we saw a customer that told us, you know what, we're doing bank account validation. We're doing different things. We use a different solution. We are doing a penny drop test and stuff like that. But that also only give you the identity that the person that you communicate with has ownership or access to that account. It doesn't say this is the right person that work in this company, and it doesn't say that that company own this account. So basically, you're still missing three of those triangle.
I agree. I agree. I love this solution. I really do. And I hope that everyone who listens to this podcast takes what you're saying very seriously because honestly, fraud is one of those easy areas to solve in your accounts payable or your financial group. And yet, so many companies just don't do it. Go figure. All right. Would you like to give the audience up to 3 takeaways that they should remember as they're watching this podcast?
Sure, I think that first you need to understand that this is a huge problem. No one will speak about it, but it's $300 billion a year problem. Okay, so I think that you can save a lot of cost today and basically save that money. Second, you can find solution that can really give you advantage to fight in this battle of AI vs AI, basically. And last, it doesn't need to change the way that you do in your business. Today, I think that any company that develops solution need to find a way to streamline your processes and make it sure that you get what you needed.
I love it. All right. Where can people find you?
And trust me, AI, simple as that.
Okay. Well, I want to thank you again for your time. And I want to thank you again for focusing your company's attention on dealing with a huge industry problem. And again, one that a lot of companies just don't pay attention to. I don't understand why, but thank you for being my guest. It was great to see you again. And we'll do this again shortly.
Thank you, sir.
All right.